Here we go. Thank you for having us. This is a beautiful venue. It's really, I think we're here to talk a little bit about shopping. And so my name is Brian. I'm with a company called Appsflyer. If you don't know us, we build tools for mobile marketers, attribution, measurement, engagement, those types of things. But we're going to spend the next 30 minutes on a conversation on various parts of shopping and e-commerce. So you just heard the names, but let me just repeat them, make sure everyone knows who we're talking to. So Aaron is here with Grove. I'll let Aaron talk about a quick background and intro in a minute. We have Matt with Tailored Brands, and we have Tom with Mack Weldon. Welcome, everyone. Nice to be here. So maybe I'll just start with you, Aaron, because you're closest to me. Quick intro and anything maybe fun to talk a little bit about the business.
Yes. Hello. So I'm Erin Weibel. I oversee e-commerce for Grove Collaborative, and we are primarily a DTC platform that sells safe and sustainable home cleaning, personal care, pet care, and gardening products. Also recently, in the last couple of years, entered into the retail space to sell our products in places like Target and Walmart. And it's been an exciting journey because we are really trying to make an impact by reducing plastic in the CPG industry, which is kind of unheard of, and we've been able to make some incredible strides. So my fun fact is that Grove, which with every purchase, we collect nature-bound plastic and get it to be repurposed into something more useful. And through our customers' purchases, we've collected over 13 million tons of that plastic and kept it out of our oceans and out of our landfills. So it feels really good to have your customers' purchase make a difference like that.
Very cool. Thank you for joining. Matt.
Yeah, good morning. Matt Repicky, Chief Brands Officer at Tailored Brands. We have brands like Men's Wearhouse, Joseph A. Bank, so menswear specialty space. And as we were talking about today, and I was asked about a fun fact, we have a pretty significant rental business. I'm sure some of you have come to Men's Wearhouse, whether it be prom, a wedding, a friend's wedding. Please return your bow ties. What we find is that everybody likes to keep a bow tie. It's an interesting memento, but also I think an interesting insight in terms of consumer behavior that we've taken. But yeah, fun fact for us.
Great. Thanks, Matt. I have like 12 bow ties.
I knew it was you, Tom.
Right now. I'm Tom Herbst. I'm currently the interim CMO at Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon is a menswear brand based out of New York. It's about 12 years old. It got its start sort of as an underwear brand, and now we offer a full array of clothes for guys who want to look and feel sharp. Fun fact, I think I have two. The first is there is no Mack Weldon. As the company was being formed, they were looking for a name, and it's really, really hard to find names that aren't trademarked. So Mack Weldon was a defunct workwear brand from the early 1900s, and they acquired the name. And they're most famous for their underwear that actually has sort of like the care and contents printed on the outside, on the back right leg. And that was actually inspired by early military underwear, where all the information was printed on the outside, so it would make for like easier sorting and efficiency through military laundry.
Fantastic.
Was that for a fact?
That's great. Those are good facts. All of you, very, very good facts. So far, so good. Okay, so we're gonna have a conversation about three parts. So I'd like to talk for a few minutes about each of your respective marketing strategies. So lots changed. The economy is hard to read. Gen AI is here. Consumer privacy keeps changing. So there's a lot to keep up with. So first question is, we're planning 2024. Most of us are. So strategically in each of your businesses, from a marketing perspective, what was some of the big bets in 23? What are you thinking about changing in 2024? I'm going to start with you, Tom.
Oh, okay. I think what's on a lot of people's minds these days, particularly brands that either were born or grew up as D2C companies, is the mix between performance and brand spend, and that's probably what everyone's talking about. Particularly as paid social has gotten so expensive, and it's that much harder to acquire consumers. So, I think what we're wrestling to the ground is how do we derive as much value from our existing customers while trying to, create some revenue to gain new customers. And we're trying to actually think less about, is it performance or is it brand and think more just about what is the value exchange through any channel with our customer. I think too often, because we need to hit a number and you need a certain CAC or a certain return on investment, all you think about is like, how can this interaction take value from the customer? How can we gain value from them? As opposed to what is the value exchange? And what are those interactions where we might not be asking for their money, but we're just giving them something, whether it's a piece of information that they can use or a new product or an association that's interesting. There will be other touches that are just sort of like, please buy this new color of underwear because we need your money. And then there's something in between. But we've tended to stop thinking about it by sort of performance versus brand and more about within each interaction, how do we make the value exchange more equitable?
Tom, I like that concept from a consumer point of view. Can you just touch on organizationally? Do you have different people, or how do you arrange that from a budget perspective? Like, how do you operationalize what you just said?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty typical in that we have a performance marketing team, we have an email team, we have a brand creative team, we have a brand strategy team. But I think when you are able to actually bring them together, because so much of it is the creative. We can talk all day about paid social. That's just a channel. That's just a place to funnel your money. But what are you actually saying in that space is the important thing. So the toughest conversations that we have internally will be on something like paid social or even email. Email is really tough because we're sending an email every day. And at some point we're like, we have to stop asking you to buy something and just give you something. So those are the toughest conversations that we have between the channel owner and the creative team, is like, how can we show up in a way that feels worth our consumers' time and not just like we're asking, trying to separate another dollar from them.
Great, fantastic. Okay, and Matt, how about you?
Yeah, first of all, I love that so much, Tom, and the number of times I've sat in a room with a board trying to convince them that the brand level work was important and gonna move the needle with the consumer. And our MMM partners have just told us that our creative message is now gonna be even more important going into 2024 than sort of where we're placing it, because we've gotten really good at knowing where to place it, but it's now what are we saying? And that's leads into one of the things I'm focused on for 2024, which is, how do we reintroduce our brands to consumers? And Men's Wearhouse is a brand that everybody knows. I've heard all of your stories, good, bad, otherwise. But you may not think about us, and you may have what I would consider outdated perceptions about our brand. And so we have, I think, a really low bar to mass reconsideration. And so my job going into next year is to create that mass reconsideration through new creative campaign work and a bunch of other tactics, which I'm super excited about. The other piece that is really big for us as we go into 2024, that with a brand like Men's Wearhouse that's 50 years old this year, we're opening stores in the year 2023, which is kind of crazy in the general macro environment. But it's super exciting because we know from a behavior standpoint, the consumer, sure, they'll come onto the website and they'll do their research and kind of get a sense of what they want. And I'll get more later into sort of some of the tools we're giving them to help do that. But they ultimately want to come into the store and experience our service, see the product hands-on. And so it's affording us the opportunity to open new doors and service a customer more locally, which is just, again, super exciting place to be.
And when you have those board conversations around brand and you have your MMM help telling you that, is there more reception right now at that level of the business to lean into brand? Are things changed? Is there
it's incumbent upon me to do that work, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to change if I can make a convincing case, and that comes from having a lot of passion around where I believe we need to go and what that vision is, but supported with any level of insight work that I can get, whether that is, again, our MMM partner, whether that is my customer insights partner showing me sort of brand equity shifts quarter over quarter. So I will take sort of any kind of key input that I can get to help craft that narrative.
Yeah. Well, if I may, one of the conversations that I try to have with my boards a lot is everything is a brand touch. Your brand is just the way that the world receives your messages and the conversations they have about you. So, it's sort of a false distinction in my mind. And if you're just feeding someone, just conversion messaging 100%, that's what your brand is. And the question is that what we want our brand to be?
Yeah.
Do we want to be a brand that you're like, oh, crap, they sent me another fucking email. I'm not over it.
Yeah. Good. Okay, great. And Aaron?
Yeah, I think, Grove, interestingly, started as a company that was actually quite good at storytelling for a category that is not the kind of category you would normally storytell around. And we really began our journey with a lot of social media marketing through influencers who made home cleaning products feel like this special and important moment in your home. And for us as a company who, was a startup that recently went public, we're in a little bit of a different space where we are in this very tactical, like ratchet down on the spend, really focused on profitability. So we are in this like optimization mode right now, and building the muscles that some more mature companies would have had around, multi-touch attribution and looking at CAC to LTV at a channel level rather than a high level, so that we can actually optimize spend on a daily basis. And that, I think, I've worked in companies in the past where that was pretty standard fare, but for Grove, those are newer tactics, and we're really honed in on doing that. And then the other thing that's perhaps unique to us, perhaps not, but we really have a very different experience for our new customers versus our existing customers. And we're really focused in on, for our existing customers, like just segmenting and micro-segmenting that group and understanding how to get the right message to the right customer at the right time, using a new third-party partner that has a machine learning segmentation tool and helps make that decision for us, and helps our team, scale the emails and the right content in a way that we weren't able to do before we had that partner on board. So we're heavily in this optimization mode, but I think we maybe started in a different place, and that's where we need to build the muscles now.
So you mentioned optimization, you mentioned some of these metrics which you're looking at. Is there more scrutiny now in the business given the drive for profitability or margin or?
Absolutely. Grove is hyper-focused on getting the value out of every dollar that we spend, whether that's the money we spend on performance media to the money that we spend on headcount. So, figuring out how to have tools that help us do that more efficiently and scale that is really important right now.
Okay, tools and scale. I think it's time to talk about the tech. So let's shift gears a little bit. I'd love to hear from each of you on some tech investments that you've made or you're planning on making to kind of scale some of the strategies that you've just laid out. So Matt, let's start with you.
Yeah, one of our big initiatives going into next year, and I want to sideline with you afterwards on who your partner is for the personalized emails, is around personalization. And how do we do that at scale? And so that's an area that we're really focused on, is actually letting my creative team pull out from having to create 1 million versions of those emails and let machine learning actually drive the right creative, the right message, the right offer, all of that to the customer. So that's a big area of focus. Coupled with, and this is where it will have a big impact on my creative copy, what have you, teams. And I heard there was a question in the last session around AI, and we're looking at what does our AI investment look like as we go into next year to make sure that we're starting to operationalize the best way to get efficiencies and learnings and growth from that technology.
I presume that's a question all of you are asking yourselves and your teams, is what's the AI strategy? How do you leverage this for the business? Is it overhyped, or is this a real thing?
Yeah, I would say, our chief technical, now chief digital officer, immediately grabbed onto ChatGPT and was like, hey, this can write copy for you, and I've written something to help it do that. Start using it immediately.
Yes.
So, it can be as scrappy.
Everyone all of a sudden is a content marketer. It's amazing.
Totally. And we've already implemented some updates on our product selling pages where, ChatGPT is scrubbing all the copy and then coming up with the most important 3 bullet points with a tone of voice that sounds like it comes from us. And that was one of the first sort of changes at scale that we made using an AI tool.
Yeah.
So for sure it's top of mind, and we're thinking about how to use it more.
Anything else other than AI? Sorry, just one follow-up. Anything outside AI you want to talk about in terms of tech bets or investments?
I would say personalization also key for us as well, and we're really working with our engineering teams to pull the customer click and purchase data and connect that to our emails, so that not only will we segment the right email to the right customer, but then personalize the content that they're receiving based on their behavior. And then the other one for Grove is we are looking forward to category expansion as a really important strategy for our long-term growth. And as we do that, having better product discovery tools on the website and in our outbound comms is becoming really important. So, we're partnering with a new search partner. We're figuring out how to enable different, whether it's self-directed product discovery or whether it's recommendations and smart product discovery that comes from, machine learning or algorithms. I'm really investing in that for the next year.
Got it. Okay. And Tom, sorry, you were, yeah.
From an AI perspective, I see AI as the tool basically to start things and finish things, but not do the thing. So if you're looking for inspiration or you want that first round of copy, they can do that. Or if you've written something and you want to refine it or personalize it, AI can do that. But kind of in the middle, I think you still need people to do it, and that's that's what makes it yours.
Yeah.
But
that's a great perspective.
I think to add on to that, to build your brand, that's where that person comes in and takes it and makes sure that it has the brand lens on it.
Totally. And then, from a tech perspective, I'm more of a brand marketer. I'm not a full stack guy. So our big thing from a brand lens this year is actually TikTok. So as
TikTok?
As a brand, whose target is a 35-year-old guy, it took us a while to be TikTok is our place, because it actually took a while to convince people that consumer was actually there, and he is. So we're going pretty deep in terms of creating content and creating the right partnerships and the right spend in TikTok to see if it can drive
Awesome.
some brand love.
Super. Okay. Let's switch gears again. And I really want to, each of you has spoken to sort of how you're touching the customer. So would love to understand sort of what, may be unique about your business or your marketing in the way that you really connect with your customer. And I'll start with you, Erin.
Yeah, so I think with Grove, because sustainability is so core to the brand positioning and such an important reason why customers would come to buy products like Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day or Method from us instead of Target, is that your purchase comes with a real sustainable impact. We are collecting nature-bound and ocean-bound plastic. We're planting trees. We're actively working to pay for carbon offsets. So we really feel like there's some incredible value in investing in building the tech to allow our customers to track their sustainability impact. So with every purchase they make, building a tracker that we can embed on their website checkout page, we can embed in their email communication that actually says, this year, you've diverted X number of pounds of plastic from the ocean. You've planted this many trees. And allowing them to see that with every purchase so that they can feel proud of spending their money with Grove and the impact that they're making, and having their purchase not just be about buying their spray cleaner, but making a difference in the world, and making that create a real brand loyalty to Grove.
That's great. I love the behavioral economics kind of aspect there. Almost, can you do what the PG&E has done and compare me to my neighbors? Is that next?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not trying to get into the roadmap too deep here. Okay, Tom, anything from you in terms of how you uniquely connect with your customers, something specific to the business?
Yeah, the Mack Weldon business is in a bit of a state of transition, as I'm sure a lot of businesses are coming out of COVID. During that time, people bought a lot of sweatpants, a lot. And then when COVID was over, they were kind of I have enough sweatpants. So, as a business that was originally known for one product category, men's boxers, and then during COVID expanded into sweatpants, now we're at this stage where where does our growth come from? And, in order to really unlock that, we have done a lot of work to understand more what is our emotional connection as an apparel brand. Because there's a bazillion, we all get them on Instagram, companies that make sweatpants and 5-pocket pants and the world's most perfect t-shirt. And it's really hard to compete at that level. So next year for us is really about understanding what is that emotional and aspirational benefit that we're providing for our consumer, and how do we bring that to life in a way that we don't have to depend always on the paid social and the next feed and the next dollar spent.
Okay, great. And Matt, with you.
I'm sorry to tell you, Tom, I just bought Skims for Men. I had to try it, but Mack Weldon is next on my list. we transact about 1 in every 3 suits in the country. And we did a lot of research over the past, let's call it 18 months, to really understand sort of like what are barriers for people coming to work with us. Because a lot of consumers come to Men's Wearhouse because someone told them to. But we still want to make that experience, obviously, as like fantastic as possible. And one of the things that really bubbled to the top was consumers felt overwhelmed. Like they didn't know. They walk in the store and they're like, what now? And so we launched a tool about 6 months ago that we're calling Wedding Wingman. It's starting with weddings, but we're going to expand it to other use cases. That is a way for folks to go through sort of a journey on your phone in advance of walking into a store, and we ask you like, what is your event? When is it? Where is it? Do you know the color palette? What's the style? And it starts to give you options of things to wear. And it's actually been incredible when we've surveyed consumers who have used it after the store experience. It's cut down about 20 minutes that they need to spend in store. They feel way better about going into the store because they kind of have a sense of what's available, what they're looking for. And so I think that's been an interesting way for us to take, again, like insight to action and really show up for our customers in a way that like is meaningful and is having an impact on their store experience and NPS as a result.
Love it. Great concept. Okay, one last question, and then I think we're going to save some time for questions in the audience. 5 means time for audience questions? Okay. We'll just do one quick. So in 30 seconds, Tom, give us, I'm going to ask you all about like social shopping. It's kind of hot. What is it? What are you thinking about it?
All in, low risk, high return. Why not?
All in, no risk, high return? Okay. Sounds like good financial advice.
Why not?
Cool. Aaron.
I think it's here to stay. It will grow. I think the highest awareness and use is with this Gen Z group,
Yep.
Who is only going to grow in their consumer spending power. So I think we'll see it grow.
Okay.
I want my financial advisor to say to me what Tom just
Yeah.
used for that
Yeah.
answer. I mean, we're definitely there. We're wanting to try it. I think our like purchase decision is a little bit different than something that's highly commoditized. So it's not going to be maybe as exactly like let's click through and purchase. But I think going back to like, I want us to be testing out and trying any sort of new CX on any platform that we're not currently on to see if it sticks and see if we should be there.
Cool. All right. Couple questions.
Okay, my name is Tara Sharp. I was formerly at Google, and I have a question for Aaron. First of all, use your site, use your products, love it. I really like the emails that you send out with the impact that my purchases have made on the environment. And I've been wondering how you measure that efficacy and what parameters you have in place in order to come back to your teams and say, hey, this is something we should continue to invest in, or we should invest in even more.
I think that goes back to what Tom is saying, is there are certain marketing tactics that you're going to use, not because they're going to drive some immediate engagement, but instead you know that they're really important to have the customer connect with your brand. And that's about a longer term investment in their loyalty and in their affinity to your brand. So, we've long debated making the technical investment to take what you've seen as sort of the beginning of what we want to do with sustainability tracking. And there were some frameworks to give someone a rough number. And that was a little bit of a proof of concept for us. But I don't think we didn't send those emails and say, this email got so much more engagement, therefore we're going to take this to the next level. We just said that, there are a lot of people selling the products that we sell, and there's a reason why you have to choose to come to us, and this is that reason. So we're going to double down on the investment that it would take from a technical standpoint to build that personalized impact tracking by customer in real time, and just make the investment because we think it's about the long-term brand positioning.
If I could add to that, I love that. I love every part of it. I've worked also on a number of sustainably driven businesses where sustainability is at the core, and through all of them, I've learned that sustainability is not the main purchase driver ever. It's probably, in your case, it's probably efficacy in apparel, it's style in footwear, it's comfort. It's never sustainability. And so to make an investment like that, I think, is incredible. And you do it because it's right. not necessarily because it works, and it's kind of the icing on the cake, not the cake. And it creates brand love, if not trial, and those are equally valuable. Sure.
Hope someone's tweeting this. That's good stuff there, Tom. We got 3 more minutes. Who's got
Hi there,
questions?
Alex Flagg from Hewlett Packard Enterprise. I'm interested in some of the latest, if you guys have been able to sort of fill in some of your blind spots when it comes to what your customers are doing offline. So let's say, Matt, for example, when they walk into stores, have you been able to use, geofencing or anything to sort of piece together what they are doing, outside of the, either the phone or the computer that they're using?
I think it's still a big opportunity for us. It's definitely something that we've been looking at. Whether that be even, how do we get tighter on intent targeting to, yes, some of our technology partners have shown us some opportunities with understanding when someone's near our store, how do we start serving them and what have you. But I would definitely love to know more about what someone else's day looks like or what their life plans look like, especially for an event-driven business like we have, before we serve them something so that we can be even, again, tighter and at the right moment. On the radar, still a ton of opportunity.
One last question.
All right, I've got 10 seconds. So for Tom, love my Atlas full zip hoodies. I've got 27 of them, I think. But the line between performance and brand is usually pretty wide. And so I'm thrilled to hear that you are looking at things as more of a merge. That's super awesome to hear. How do you map that value exchange? Are you delivering content? Is it incentives? What is that actual currency exchange?
Yeah, it can be anything. So I think a new product that is truly innovative is a value exchange. I'm giving you something you haven't seen before. It's new to the market. By the way, it's really hard to do. That's why there's value there. Most people who make new products think that it's new and the consumer's never seen anything like it, and they have. That could be a value exchange. I think a moment of entertainment could be a value exchange. A moment of learning, a piece of knowledge that you can use in your life can be a value exchange. I think that association with someone you admire can be a value exchange. Like, there's all sorts of ways to do it. And for me, the part that always, I think, people skip over is the actual product marketing part of it. They're either like, I have to sell you a product or I have to sell you a brand. But in the middle is the product marketing, where you can storytell about products in a way that both sell the product, but also make you as a consumer feel good and knowledgeable and give you a sense of identity. There's a lot of talk, when was that, like a year ago, about Airbnb, how they stopped performance marketing and started brand marketing. If you look at what they did, they actually did product marketing. So they started talking about the experience itself, like actually what they were selling. So I don't know. That's a long answer to what was the question?
That's great. I think we'll end there. I think we're out of time. Tom, Aaron, Matt, thank you very much for the conversation.
Thanks so much.